All right, so we are at 10:02, so we're going to go ahead and begin the presentation. I just briefly want to thank everyone for joining. This is our how to embed content into emails. In this case, we're using Mailchimp with Issue. So I'm Craig Kingsbury. I'm on the customer success team here at Issue. Just a little bit about me. What I do is I work with webinars, make sure that everyone is comfortable with the tools that are available to them. I also do workshops if you're ever interested in those. I run workshops every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. You can register for those just from the homepage. And then I'm joined here today by Monty, and I'll just let Monty introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Monty. I'm the ad operations manager here at Issue. In a past life, I oversaw the execution, operations, and strategy of a global email marketing program with over 8 million subscribers across 7 different languages. I put this solution together because email remains such a powerful touch point for one-to-one communication with current and potential customers. Issue's visual stories help creators like yourselves repurpose your content in a compelling manner that looks great anywhere. And with just a few stats about email and GIFs that we're going to be jumping into, over 56% of email marketers are using GIFs in their marketing emails in some capacity. And a study by the Email Institute found that emails with animated GIFs saw an increase in click-through rates of up to 26%. Of course, performance will vary. And as the saying goes, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then an issue visual story must be worth 1 billion. I'll be here trying to answer the questions that you have via the Q&A function. And with that, back to you, Craig.
Well, so just a brief overview of what we're going to be going over today. So just a quick introduction of sort of what Issue is, and Monty gave a good overview of what the tool is and why we feel it's important. We want to walk everyone through how to create these with the different Issue tools that are available. And then we'll actually hop into a 20-minute live demo. So I'll be jumping into live tools, so you'll see all the steps on how to create this and actually plug these into your email campaigns. And then the last thing that we'll do is we'll actually have a Q&A. So at any time, if you do have any questions, just feel free to submit those. So you can actually see right here at the bottom of your screen, and there's a little visual there for you to reference. At any time, just plug in your questions to the Q&A. There is a chat function, but we won't be monitoring that. So make sure if you do have questions, you want those answered, to plug those into the Q&A. We'll try to make as much time as possible at the end of it to answer as many of those questions as possible. I know time may be limited. So if there are any questions that go unanswered, we're going to do our best to answer those through email and get back to everyone, just so everyone has answers to anything that they're just curious about or just need more explanation on. So for anyone that is new to Issue, or maybe this is their first time or experience with it, I'm sure many of you on this call right now use Issue in some regard. But Issue is really a tool for both independent creators and global brands to create and share and monetize their content in the digital world. And it actually allows you to create everything in one place and then just share everywhere. What we're going to be focused on today is primarily the email aspect of it, but it's definitely not limited to social media or really anywhere else on the digital landscape that you want to engage with your audience. So what we'll do now is we'll actually just jump right into the live demo. We also just want to let everyone know we have a special offer for everyone who does attend at the end. So we're going to make that available at the very end. So make sure to stay tuned for that. All right, so I'm just going to hop into the tool here. Now, the first step that you're going to want to do with Issue is you're going to want to create a visual story. Now, if you're not familiar with visual stories, you can actually create these directly from Issue. I can just hop over here. We're not going to go into the creation side of it just for time's sake, but if you see over here on the left-hand side of your dashboard, you can click there and you can begin building visual stories from any content you've created through Issue. If you are curious about this or never done that before, these are the workshops that I mentioned before. You can just register for these directly from the homepage. I host those every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, and it just actually walk through the whole creation process. So if you do need more detail for that, just feel free to register right there. So from here, really, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download your visual story into an MP4 format. So that's the first step here. And you can actually do that just by clicking on download visual story from here. This will download the visual story into the MP4 format directly to your computer. And then you can begin the next step. So the next step for us here is to convert that MP4 file over into a GIF file. And that's how we're going to embed it directly into the email campaign. So this is the GIF generator that we're using. It's a free tool. Anyone can find it. It's just called easygif.com. If you're more comfortable with another solution and you've used that in the past, no problem. That should work totally fine. We're just using this one as the example right now. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to actually select the file that we downloaded, which is that visual story in the MP4 format. And we're just going to do that just by clicking on choose file. And then we're going to find the file that we use. So this is the one that I'm going to use in this situation. And once we do that, we're just going to click upload video. And then that's actually going to plug in the video content directly to this GIF converter. So now we have our video file uploaded to this GIF converter. It's still a video file, and there's some things to note here. So we can actually click play, and we can just see this, the video play as is. And this is just the way that the visual story displays directly on issue as well. Some things to note here, the file size, 11 megabytes. It's much too large to send out in an email. So that's why we're going to want to turn this into a GIF file. And then we're going to want to take some additional steps as well, just to make sure that we can reduce that file size and make sure it fits into an email. Mailchimp currently allows 10 megabytes for an email. So even this alone would be too much. So our goal is to bring this down to as close to 1 as we possibly can. But we found that anywhere between 1 and 2 megabytes for these files should work smoothly. Some other things to note here, the size, this is currently at 608 for the width, 1080 for the height, and the length is at 19 seconds. Now you noticed, if you're not familiar with visual stories, these are basically slides that last 5 seconds each. And we've really found that by cutting it to about 15 seconds for the GIF, it really has the best performance, and you don't have to worry about compressing it too much and degrading any quality there. So it will still be a smooth experience. So we're going to want to go ahead and we're going to want to cut this down to 15 seconds. So that will just be the first 3 slides of that. And we can actually do that just by plugging in 15 here. And then we're going to also want to go to the size. So again, we're going to want to adjust this to better fit in an email. We can do this by just clicking on this drop down here, and we're going to auto fit the width and then have the height at 320. And we can keep the frame rate here at 10 frames per second. But if you do need to adjust that, if it is a larger file, you can move to 7 if you need to. That will change the quality of it. It won't be as smooth if it's at 10. But it is something that you can play around with. You know, if you're seeing better results with that, go ahead and just go with that. So the last little bit that we're going to do here is we're just going to check this box here, just optimize static background. This should just make the process a little bit smoother and make it not have to do as much work. And the last step here is just to convert this over to a GIF. So you can see it's actually working now. Shouldn't take longer than a minute at the most. It kind of just depends on your internet speed. But while it's doing that, and it pops up, we can see now we have our GIF file. So this is our MP4 that's now converted over into a GIF. And we can see we have our file size here at 387 megabytes, or 3.87 megabytes, sorry, with the width of 180 and the height of 320. So that's exactly what we want to do. But the file size is still too large. So we're going to want to go ahead and we're going to want to reduce that. So one way that we can do that is we can click on optimize here. So once we're in optimize, we can go ahead and we can begin the compression side of it. So currently we have it at 35. You can see over here, 30 is very light compression, 200 is heavy. So the more that we compress it, the lower the quality of the actual GIF will be. So we don't want to go too high with this. So we're going to just move this over to about 75 and just kind of see what we get with that. So we're going to click optimize GIF. Perfect. So we've optimized the GIF. We brought it down by compressing it by 75. But our file size is still too large. So there's some things that we're going to want to do to adjust this to bring this down again. So again, we can click on optimize. So we can keep the compression where it was before, But what we'll do is we'll actually try just removing every fourth frame. So that basically with the way the GIF works, it's almost like a digital flip book. So we'll just make sure that we'll remove every fourth frame. So that will hopefully reduce the size enough. So now we're at 1.82 megabytes. So this is something that will be acceptable for us right now. We do recommend people getting as close to 1 as possible, but we did find that anywhere between 1 and 2 should work fine. The larger the file size of the GIF, it's just going to affect the loading of your email. So that's the only thing you really have to keep in mind there. And then you can play around with it too, and you can just see, whatever sort of is working best for you from there. So once we've done that, we can go ahead and we can click save. And this will just save the GIF directly to our computer. And then we can hop over into Mailchimp. So once we're in Mailchimp, I already have my email composed, and all I'm really waiting for here is just to drop in my GIF file. So dropping this in is really simple. What we're gonna do is go over to our image block over here, and we're just gonna drag this in, and I'm just gonna put this right in between the text. So once I have my image block placed there, what I can do is I can click upload an image, and I can click upload, and that's where I would add that file that I just downloaded, the GIF file. I already have this saved just for the sake of time, but it shouldn't take longer than a minute at the most. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click this one right here and click insert. So now we have our GIF inserted directly into our email campaign. And really all that's left to do is just make sure that your campaign is ready to go. We can actually hit preview here and enter preview mode just to make sure that everything does look good. If you want to go back in, you want to make any sort of adjustments, optimize it a little bit more, make it smoother, you can go in and kind of play with that and problem solve as you need to. But this is really going to be where you're going to check to see that everything is working the way that you want it to. Now, an alternative to using the visual stories for the GIF, we actually do have a GIF builder directly in Issue. This will allow you to pull out the whole spreads and turn those into a GIF file, and then you can drop that directly into your emails as well. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to find whatever publication it is that you want to convert into a GIF file. I'm going to use this one for an example. And then on the left-hand side, you can see under Share that there's a section that says Create GIF. So if we go into here, we can actually select up to 5 pages here. And plug these in, you can see it's going to create a GIF file. And we can even play around with the background color. We have some options that are built in here. But if there's a specific color that you want to use, you can go ahead and you can plug that in as well. And then all you would need to do is just click download, and then that will actually download it right into a GIF file. So you just click download as GIF, and then you can upload that directly to your email campaign. So I already have this downloaded and added directly to my Mailchimp. So you can just kind of see what that looks like. Whoops. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. So once we're back into here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this one just so you can kind of see this process again. So what I'd want to do is I just want to grab the image block, grab this in here and drop it right in the middle of that text. You can place that wherever you like, really. I just kind of like the way that looks. I'll click upload image again. And I have this GIF file already saved here, but all you would need to do is just click upload, and then you can just add that GIF file directly from your computer. So I'll just take that piece and click insert. So now you can see that's plugged in there. So 2 different ways that you can do that. Kind of depends on what look you're going for. If you want to extract specific images, the visual stories can be a better way to go. But if you do want to display the full ads, it's a quick process really because we have the GIF generator built in for that. So kind of up to you. You can play around with whatever works best for you. Now, one other thing I do want to touch on, and we're going to make this available to people as well. If you're comfortable with HTML, we have a template that we're going to circulate to people. And what it will allow you to do is basically just plug in your image directly into a little bit of code that we can send to you. And it will build it out so it will put the image to the left, and then you'll be able to plug in any sort of copy that you want on the right-hand side. It'll be a little bit of a plug and play for you, but if you are comfortable with HTML, or if you have someone on your team that is, you'll be able to create this experience and have the text and the images right next to each other rather than just the image and then the text above and below. All right. So that's basically the whole process. So from here, what I really want to do is I want to open up this to the Q&A. So I'll hop back over here. So again, we are just after the Q&A. We're going to talk about our offer that we're going to give everybody. So stick around if you are interested in that. But we're going to jump into the Q&A here. Whoops. So the first question that came in from me was, can you embed with other email service providers? So this is a question I got frequently before the webinar started. People wanted to know if this was going to be something that we could apply to, what other platforms are using. This absolutely can. This is just downloading a GIF and then uploading that directly to whatever email it is that you want to. We just use Mailchimp as the example for this. But just like with the email service providers, as well as the GIF generator, whatever is more comfortable for you, you can definitely do that. This is just sort of the process that we have for that. So Monty, did you get any questions that you want to touch on?
Yes, a few questions. A question that I got was about how, can I use more than one? While you're more than welcome to, we recommend that you just use one, as studies have shown that while GIFs are an effective way to communicate in email, performance does wane over time, and including multiple GIFs in an email does slow down the downloading and rendering of the email.
Perfect. And then another one that came in was, do I have to know CSS or HTML? So for this process, as you saw with just plugging in the GIF file, you don't actually need to know HTML or CSS or anything like that. But if you do want to use the template that we're going to send out to people, where you can actually put the image and then the text next to it, you would need to know a little bit, but not really a lot, just kind of enough to know where to kind of plug things in. So if you know a little bit of HTML, or if you have someone on your team who does, you can definitely do that. But for the most part, if you're just plugging in that GIF file like we saw, you can do that without any kind of coding knowledge. Perfect. Any other questions that you want to touch on, Monty, that you saw from the Q&A?
Yes, common one was, where can the GIF go? So much like with any image in an email, you can direct where you want the GIF to go. So it can go back to the publication, it can go to an article story, it can go to your landing page on your website. The world is your oyster on that front.
Perfect. And then there is something that we wanted to bring up. We have a poll for everybody. So we can kind of look through some more of the questions while you guys look at this. But we just want to ask everyone, do you have a dedicated resource for email marketing? So if you can kind of just let us know that, and then if that person is you, just let us know. We're just trying to get a better understanding, really of, who's using this sort of platform, and really how to, better create these tools for everyone. So I'll just let this up here for just a little bit more, and then we'll actually have a second poll that we'll jump into as well. And then while that's going on, Monty, I'm not able to actually pull up the Q&A while I have my screen share open. Are you able to just pull up another question for us?
So it looks like also another common question is being able to embed the full flipbook. Unfortunately, or rather, a lot of you guys are asking, can we actually embed the issue reader into email? Unfortunately, not currently, because of the way that the reader is embedded. It's embedded via an iframe, and email service providers don't accept iframes just because of the security issues around that.
Perfect. All right, so I just ended that first poll, so thanks everyone for plugging that in. It does look like most of you do have a dedicated resource for email marketing, and about 74% of those people are you. So glad that you guys were able to join the call. This is exactly the, who we were hoping to speak to about this. So we have that poll, and I actually have another poll that I want to plug in here for everyone. Let me just see here. All right, and I'm just going to pull this one up. So the first question is, are you interested in a one-on-one consultation with Issue, and we can help transform your content into stories and be shared with your emails. So if you are interested in that, we'll actually be able to set up a time specifically with you and just hop on a call and walk through, any of your needs and answer any questions specifically. And then we also just want to know, would you like to have a discussion with an Issue expert on which plan is right for you? So if you're currently not on a paid plan, we're happy to hop on a call and walk you through just the different options that are available to you, and answer any questions that you might have. Related to that, we do have our special offer that I mentioned earlier. So I'm just going to hop over to that screen over here. Now, so we are going to be doing a 50% off Issue Premium annual subscriptions. So you can see that offer code right over here. You can basically just look that. You can write that down if you need to, but we're going to be sending that out in an email as well. So everyone who did attend, you'll be able to check out that offer and get the premium annual plan for 50% off. And we're going to be making that available until August 1st at midnight. So just keep that in mind if you do want to use that before it does expire. Perfect. And then Monty, just before, I know we're running short on time here. We're a little bit over, but do you have any other questions from the Q&A that you want to touch on before we sign off?
Sorry, just looking through here. You guys have really come in with the questions here. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll through this. Sorry. I feel like we've answered most of the common questions around it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So basically, what we'll do then is we'll go through everyone's Q&A questions too later. And then if there's anything that was unanswered, no problem. We're going to be following up with those in email as well. And then everyone that was interested in speaking with us more just about the consultation of, how to set this up yourself, we're going to be reaching out to you as well as the people who are interested in just learning more about our paid plans. And in addition to this being recorded, we're going to be sending out basically a step-by-step walkthrough just in a basically slide format. So then you can kind of use that as a companion piece. So if you need to go back, watch the live webinar, you can also pull that up as well. That way you can really make sure that, you have all the steps that you can follow easily. But I do just want to thank everyone so much for taking time to hop on. We really appreciate that. I want to thank Monty for, helping us create this whole process and joining me today and helping with the questions and answers. So yeah, thanks again, everybody. And we'll definitely be reaching out to everyone soon and then sending out the recording for this, I think early next week. All right, so thank you so much. All right.